In this problem, we're asked to solve and write the solution set using interval notation, this problem here. Well, what type of problem is it? If you notice, I have an inequality here, but I have another one over here. So it is a compound inequality. What's the degree? The degree on the x is 1, so it's linear. There's two different ways to solve these inequalities. One is to break it down into this inequality and this inequality, solve each of them independently, and then put them back together again. However, there is a quicker method for solving this type of compound inequality. And here it is here. To solve a compound inequality of the form that we have here, you must isolate the variable in the middle by performing operations on all three parts of the inequality. So what we want to do with our inequality here is I want to get x all by itself in the middle. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is add 2 to the middle, which means I also have to add it to the left-hand side and the right-hand side. And remember, adding and subtracting numbers to an inequality does not change the inequality symbol. So now I'm going to get negative 12 plus 2 is negative 10, is less than 5x, is less than or equal to 18 plus 2 is 20. Now I'm going to have to divide everything by 5. Now, does dividing by a positive number change the inequality symbol? No. That only happens when you divide by a negative number. So I'm just going to divide all three parts by positive 5. My inequality symbols stay the same. And I get negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2, is less than x, is less than or equal to 20 divided by 5 is 4. So I have solved my inequality. Now we have to write it in interval notation. And the simplest way to do that often is to graph it first. And the two numbers I'm interested in are negative 2 and 4. So what does this statement mean here? If I break it down into its two parts, it means negative 2 is less than x and x is less than or equal to 4. Both of them have to be true at the same time. This one here gets a little confusing written in this method, but if I rewrite it with x on the left and negative 2 on the right, remember when you rewrite an inequality, you have to reverse the inequality symbol. So it's going to be x is greater than negative 2. To remember how to do this, just remember a student told me the pointy end still points to the same person. Very unmathematical, but it works. So if x has to be greater than negative 2 and less than or equal to 4 all at the same time, the only time that can be true is in the region in between the negative 2 and 4. So I tend to think of this statement as an in-between statement. X lies in between this number and this number. What endpoint do I put on the negative 2? Since there's no equals, it's a parentheses, but there's a equals on the 4, so I have to use a square bracket. So my interval notation is parentheses negative 2, comma 4 square bracket.